another Generation 2 Plasticon review! Woo! Welcome back to another Plasticon review. Today we're going to cover some more Generation 2. When I'm talking G2, I'm talking Generation 2 Scorponok. Here is G2 Scorponok in his City Refinery Fortress mode. And this is where he just kind of sits and lurks and waits for, any of the Autobots to come and just like sneak up on him. He's got a lot of different little details throughout him, so that way you can like have engine bays. Not to mention you also got missile launching and a bit of a command post in the back. He does happen to have a ramp on the front that works very, very well, and it's kind of cool because you can take good old fast track here and go all the way down it, because that's what a ramp's for, right? He does happen to have a lifting up gimmick here in the back, so that way you can launch fast track if you want to. It's just a little harder to get hold of this range. But let's take a really good close look at him without all this stuff in the way, so that way you guys can get a bit of a close-up. Here's Scorponok set up without any of the other robots or anything in the way, and this is more or less the default setup for him. He does happen to have these two blast barriers that can actually be lowered and laid down. So that way you can actually drive Micromasters across, or maybe, take a little fast track here and just drive him across here if you want to. And he also has these doors here that do close up. So that way, if you don't want to actually have to get into the maintenance bays, you don't have to. It's kind of cool. I do like the fact that these do come down like this, so it gives you a little bit more elevation for like commanding and doing all that type of stuff. And I like the fact that it's also got 5mm ports all over it, so you can kind of plug things in anywhere you want. One thing I tend to do when I actually don't have these up is I tend to lean these two gold cannons I got forward. That way it has a little bit of armament going on. Now these back here in the back, you're kind of at your own interpretation. You can move them up and down. Normally if I put him into what I like to call battle stance, because that's kind of more or less what this is, I'll bring these claws down further, so that way it's a lower profile for the Autobots and such to hit. And not to mention I would fold these up so that way there couldn't be any damage done to the rest of him, especially when he's in Fortress mode, because you don't want him to get damaged in Fortress mode, because that's just, that's not even fun. I mean, come on, Decepticons have to have a base, so there you go. And like I said, these will roll around pretty good. And I have a tendency of knocking things off, so sorry guys. But this is Scorponok in his Fortress mode. But anyway, this isn't what he actually is the best at looking at. So let's turn him into, well, shall we say, a creepy crawly. And here's G2 Scorponok in his Scorpion mode. This is where this toy looks absolutely phenomenal. All these colors just kind of mesh together just in the right way and just fits that whole like neon crazy atmosphere of G2 that we all have grown to love. What's awesome about this toy is it's got a lot of play features even in this mode. So let's take a close look at all the little things that this thing does in its Scorpion mode. Taking a little closer look at him, he's actually got a lot of different things he does in this mode. One thing he happens to do that I absolutely have always loved is the fact that you're moving back and forth and his legs have always like up and down, really creepy crawly, and that's just awesome. I've always loved that about this toy. Just amazing. He does happen to have arm articulation here. You can pretty much turn this any way you want to. You can pretty much go 360 degrees in a row. These do have a bit of detent, and not to mention he does happen to have claws that open, which are nice. You know, if you want him to sit here and say you want him to grab Megatron here because Megatron is being a pain in his keister. Sorry about that. Gun fell off. Anyway. He could do such a thing. You know, you just hang on to Megatron. As much as Megatron wants to whine, you can let go of him. I love that about this. It's just a very cool toy. I just love how the articulation is on it. He does have a little bit of articulation back here when you come to the tail portion. He does have this piece here that can raise and lower, and it's primarily, I've always called this his main laser. I always thought he would just fire lasers from this. It's all done in like green and this kind of a, almost like a chocolate brown, I would say. Kind of brownish copper color. I do like that a lot. It just fits. It just adds into the whole aesthetic. Taking a look at the head portion here. The head portion here actually does open up, and you can just put any kind of headmaster you want to in here, and it just closes right back up just like this. Is just like a little cockpit. And not to mention you do happen to have the door here that opens that can also house Xarax himself. I'm going to take Xarax here out of the thing real quick and show you how it plugs in, or how he sits inside the cockpit as well. Take good old Xarax and he just kind of just chills in here, like literally sits all the way down inside the helmet of this thing, which is kind of cool because, you know, it's a command post. It's kind of funny how he's so tiny in there. He's so little, but oh well, because, you know, gigantic robot, that's what he turns into. But anyway, let's talk a little bit about the Xarax figure along with good old Fast Tracks, shall we? Here's Xarax in his little Pretender shell. This is an homage to the unreleased spider version that come out. It's like a tarantula. It's got a really cool looking little head sculpt going on in there, not to mention, you know, the big old G2 logo slapped right here on his side. It's got a lot of detail in there too. You can see a little bit of the red here is picked out on the little optics and such. And it's very neat. I've always loved these things. These things are amazing. And this here does come off, and you can use it for a weapon if you want, but I would just leave it on the back because, you know, it's kind of cool. It adds a little more dynamicness to him, considering he's supposed to be a spider. But the cool thing is you can open this up and take good old Xarax out himself and close this back up. And here's Xarax. He's very neat. I like him. It's not too bad. kind of fits the whole G2 colory vibe going on, you know, with the weird purples and greens and yellows. And he easily just, you know, all he does really is turns into the head for his Scorponok. So we'll just flip him down like this, and bam, there you go. There's the head for Scorponok. Next thing we're going to look at is Fast Track. This is Fast Track, and he's just a little beetle. Just runs around and does his little thing. It's pretty cool. Does happen to have a pullback gimmick. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I think mine's jammed right now. Up there it went. Oh, see? Always works when my camera's not working. Go, 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 go. Okay. Obviously, spinning by itself. Anyway. Fast Track's kind of cool. I like him a lot. He's got an extremely simple transformation. He's not very difficult at all. He pulls little arms up like this. And flips the mandibles back. And then you will take these two wing pieces and flip them around just like that. And then you grab the legs and pull them down. And then just flip down the face. And there you go. There's Fast Track in his little robot mode. It's a very cool little robot. I do think he's neat. It's kind of a nice little addition, and it just adds in and just fits the color scheme, and it fits the vibe, and it's just perfect. I just love it. So let's go back over to the gigantic Scorpion and see what else it does. And here's Scorponok in his robot mode, and this is just absolutely phenomenal how the colors just explode on the screen with this. I love how much the bright orange and the bright blue and just that, not exactly a dark green, but kind of like a little lighter type of green, just really pops. He's got his nice G2 emblem right here, right on the chest, and he just looks very, very amazing. I do love how this guy looks like in robot mode. You can take the two cannons and put them in his hands, that way he actually has some cannons to carry in his hands, and you can actually put both of them in one hand. I've done it before, and it actually looks kind of neat. I don't mind this. This is actually really, really cool. The color scheme for this guy was actually represented many, many, many years ago in a French catalog, and it was never made. This was never produced, and I think this is just absolutely amazing. This is such a cool piece, and it just really kind of pulls together the whole Generation 2 vibe. I think this goes very, very well with my G2 Insecticons, and it just fits the whole vibe. I love how he looks. He's just absolutely brutal, but he's amazing looking. He just is extremely striking. And to me, this is almost like a Warderos thing from Diaclone. I just love this thing because it's enormous. It's a gigantic insect that turns into like a battle station or just a machine just to rip things apart. It's a very, very cool thing, and honestly, it's a very awesome looking adversary, especially when you put him next to your Great Robot Base and Fortress X. Anyhow, this has been Plasticon. This has been yet another Generation 2 review. I'll catch you guys later. I have plenty more coming your way. That's it for now. Bye.